Greckin,
Here.
Ford,
Here.
Scott,
Here.
Waters,
Here.
Capron.
Here.
Do we stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance?
Wait, right?
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I threw the note away, but it was Garvey's, right?
Damn, we forgot about this. I can't turn around.
We'll get it
Right.
Okay.
It reads, whereas you are to be commended for taking time, the initiative, and the effort to create a beautiful yard that contributes greatly to your neighborhood and to the city of Sioux City. And you should be proud of the work you've done and the beauty you have created. And whereas we thank you for allowing our citizens to enjoy your beautiful yard and for teaching by example the merits of beautification in the community. Now therefore, I, Robert E. Scott, Mayor of the City of Sioux City, Iowa, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby commend Rick and Regis Garvey for exhibiting pride of ownership and being named the recipient of the City of Sioux City's Yard of the Month Award. I'd like to present this to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do, and stay right there because Jim's got some stuff.
On behalf of the Yard of the Month Committee, I'd like to congratulate you, and on behalf of the Sioux City Neighborhood Network, I'd like to present that check. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks.
Say a few words. This is our 8th year. Going gung-ho. We've got yards for the next month. Doesn't cost you guys a cent. Okay? It's all free, good publicity, a lot of fun. Meet a lot of
We
great
appreciate
people.
you guys doing it.
Thanks for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really like, I really like what you said in the article in the Sioux City Journal.
Oh,
That-
thank you.
Yeah, it does a lot of good for the soul, doesn't it?
It's, that's my way of unwinding. I know a lot of people look at it and go.
I've got a weed patch.
Don't go away, Regis. I want to talk to you.
Exactly. I'm just doing a couple jobs.
Take care.
Thanks.
We'll go to the consent agenda, which is 2 through 12D. Consider the items passed unanimously unless someone asks for a roll call vote. You want to speak on an item, come up as I read it, state your name and address so it can be recorded. Same thing if you want to come up under citizen concerns if you want to speak on an item not on the agenda. I move the consent agenda.
Second?
2 is a reading of the City Council minutes of June 12, 2017. 3 is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Hawk Company for the purchase of 4 digital sensors, 10 probes, 10 controllers, and 10 adapters to the wastewater treatment plant. The way your vendors, you had like 2 vendors, right?
Yes.
I mean, did you have 2 vendors? Yeah. But you'd never know it because the items didn't seem to match up. Because this guy only had like 6 items on the deal and the others had 10, and you know that?
I do, on the controllers?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the controllers for Hawk, we need 10 controllers on their bid,
But it only shows 6 on their bid, I think.
on the Hawk.
Yeah. It was kind of confusing. I should have called you, but I just,
Well, I'm showing 10 controllers on my quotation.
well, okay. I see what you're trying to tell me, but if you go, well, where it says 6 or whatever, it only has 4. Where the others, if you go down and read theirs, it seemed like they had 6 or 10 or 20 and,
They asked for quote number 3. The others are for an optional controller. Some are
Okay.
wireless, some are.
okay,
Some will
well,
hook up.
it didn't look like they were matching equal.
They- Right, but
Okay, all right.
I think it's the same.
But this is definitely the low bid, not just the one you want, right?
Nope, that's a little bit. Yep,
All right.
okay.
20 grand on it.
4 is a resolution announcing the intent of the city council to fill the position of the city assessor upon resignation of Al Jordan effective July 1st, 2017. Anyone to be heard on this? I will vote for this, but I can tell you if we're not able to secure the services of a competent city assessor, I'm probably going to change my vote because that's so important that you get somebody that's qualified to do the deal. And I think I do think we should review that budget because we've gone almost a year and a half without that commercial appraiser and we seem to have gotten the job done. So I think that I would like to have us have a meeting with that board, the conference board, and do a budget amendment and eliminate that position.
I tend to agree. I last remember, I don't know, maybe a month ago, we asked staff to gather information. Hadn't seen anything until I saw the article in the paper that quoted you two in particular.
Well,
and so
this wasn't my deal, but go ahead.
yeah, and what I was going to say that I agree with is that, well, I thought we were going to take a closer look at what other cities in Iowa were doing, and I thought we were going to check to find out if there was anybody qualified in the assessor's office to do the commercial valuations. I think that's the big issue, was it not?
But the problem is we won't know that until we advertise the positions, right?
Correct, because the qualified assessors, that there's a list that's maintained by the Department of Revenue that cities can choose from, and individuals have to be on that list in order to be eligible to be interviewed.
But we don't have access to that until we do this?
The way that the state code reads is that we cannot be provided with the list until
okay.
7 days, within 7 days of the vacancy occurring, which is July 1st.
Then I'm fine with this, but I do think that we need to determine if there are qualified individuals who can do the
Right.
work, and whether or not there's a savings. I think Councilman Moore brought it out in the article that I read that talks about whether or not, I mean, if we have to contract for people to do that work. And then the other part of it for me is there's a customer service requirement from my perspective. And I know that I had several discussions with individuals who were concerned about the appeal process, and given a date and no flexibility in changing it, or maybe only given 10 minutes for the hearing, and then maybe getting a reply that they had no ability to respond to. So I think we need an individual who not only has the ability and expertise to conduct the valuations, but the commercials in particular, I guess, but also to make sure that there's some quality customer service that gives those who appeal at least a good feeling that they've had an opportunity to be heard and a good decision was made. But the comments I've heard didn't indicate that. Now, whether we can do it without filling the position.
Well, you still have to have a city assessor, but you may not have to. We've had a vacancy of a year and a half for the commercial guy.
That's one of the deputy positions? Yeah.
Well, for the commercial, but, and I ask that this be put on the agenda primarily for the reason that if we're advertising for a city assessor, I want to send a message from council whether we support a city assessor or not. I would not want to apply for a job thinking that this position could be eliminated at any time, because there's been a lot of talk about it. Years ago, we took this up before, and it was within the past 3 years, I think. So this is the second time in 3.5 years that we're bringing it up. So that was a primary concern. The other concern I had, Pete, you touched upon, and that's customer service and making sure that we get the job done at the city assessor's level. In addition, as far as the commercial appraiser was able to do a lot of that type of appraisal, and he was doing it to save money in the budget. But it's not to say that the next city assessor might not be qualified as a commercial appraiser, but, and I agree with you, Mayor, I mean, we do need to look at those things, but I just want to send a clear message, and maybe we don't have the votes here, I don't know how you're all going to vote, but I think we need to send the message that we do want to have a city assessor, and it will be we want to find someone qualified, and it remains to be seen. If we don't find that person that's qualified, then we can deal with it at that time, but I just want to vote it up or vote it down. And I have not seen any numbers for cost savings. I haven't seen anything or any discussion on the service that would be provided to Sioux Cityans by a city assessor, that service would keep up. I know they had over, 900 protests filed, and by state law, they have a block of time that they have to hear those protest speech. So that's part of it. That's the reason why a 10-minute limit. And I went there myself on behalf of clients, and I know what that's like, that you don't have a rebuttal time. You just present the evidence as best you can based on the information you have, and then hopefully they'll make a decision and it'll go your way, but it doesn't always go that way either. So I just, for those reasons, I really think the council needs to take a stand, take a position. Are we for a city assessor or not, so that, you know, we don't go through this application process and mislead anyone that would be wanting to relocate to Sioux City and make this their home.
Well, and I know that we've been looking for a year and a half, and I think maybe some of it has to do with what we're paying, so I think we need to look at the salary for one thing. And you mentioned customer service, yeah, that's a big deal, not just for this position, but for all of our positions. You know, when you're out there, we need to let the people know that we still care. You know, we have a job to do, but we still care. And when you have 1,000, I heard that it was 1,000 appeals, and I don't know how you can get 1,000 appeals in there without being a little cranky, to be honest with you, but.
No, but here's the complaint I had, and it's legitimate. If you're gonna make 10-minute appointments, you don't take my 10 minutes and give it to the next person. And that's what happened.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that.
They better adhere to their 10-minute rule,
Sure.
because then they're behind all day.
Yeah, I never heard that, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so, yeah, that's
I
very
got chewed
correct.
pretty good.
Well, and everyone deserves the fair opportunity.
Right, and that's what they said, well,
Right.
you only got 5 minutes because we ran over. Well, that's not fair to that person, so.
No,
I think something else to keep in mind, the Taxpayers Research Council has not supported or endorsed the merger of the two offices, and I put weight on what they have to say, because they've studied it, they've looked at the numbers, and I'll just be quiet right now after the.
Well, I'm just saying, they didn't support your hotel either, but go ahead with your story.
okay,
I knew you were gonna say that too.
sit down here.
All right, let's move ahead. Resolution authorizing community development to apply for affordable housing program funds for the housing rehabilitation program. 6 is a resolution temporarily closing various streets in the downtown area from 6 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. on June 29th, 2017 for the big parade and fireworks.
Aye.
Dan's excited.
The big parade, oh my God.
Actions relating to
good.
construction documents. A is a resolution adopting plans and specs for the annual utility lining project. B is a resolution adopting plans and spec for the annual crack ceiling project. 8 is an actions relating to agreements and contracts. A resolution approving amendment number 2 to the IDOT grant agreement for the construction of the new roadway between Aviation Boulevard and Seaboard Triumph Parkway. B is a resolution awarding a contract to InfraTrack for the Riverfront Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Cleaning and Televising Project. A are actions relating to property. A is a resolution proposing to sell real property, part of the vacated east-west alley abutting 811 Newton Street. Petitioner Dave J. and Kathleen L. Bertrand. I need to abstain on that, please. B is a resolution inviting proposals for the sale of land in the combined Central Sioux City CBD urban renewal area and accepting the proposal of Ho-Chunk Capital Real Estate, the vacated east-west alley abutting 607 and 615 Pearl Street. 10 are applications for cigarette, tobacco, nicotine, vapor permits. See the list, come forward if you have questions. 11 are applications. See the list, come forward if you have any questions. Anyone to be heard on any of those first 12 items? Seeing none, we'll vote.
I think so.
Okay.
Who we need? Passes 5-0. 13 is a hearing and resolution accepting the proposal of Monterey Management and J. Clone for the sale of land in Downer Park urban renewal area and authorizing development of minimum assessments agreements, property at 2301 Boulevard of Champions, deferred from May 2017, June 5th, 2017, and now it's requested to be deferred until July 10th, 2017. I'll move that.
Second.
This is the last deferral though, right?
Yes.
And what's the reason for it?
Oh, okay.
Mayor and Council, Chris Myers, Economic Development Specialist. Yeah, this has been deferred a few times now, and we were told late on Friday by the developer that he has switched to a local attorney, which he believes will help speed up the process and keep things moving. So this would be the last deferral.
Well, it depends on the local attorney, right, Dan? Sounds good, Chris.
Happy Monday.
Depends.
You shouldn't act like
I was
that.
just saying, it
Knock
just
it off.
depends.
You bring some of your stuff on yourself, you know that, right?
That's our decision.
I don't know if I like sitting between you two.
Everyone voted?
Fun, Dan.
All right.
Oh,
Waiting
you
on
got,
three
you got
of
the
them.
deferral on there, okay. I thought that was gonna be a roll call.
Alex, I'm waiting on you.
Oh, I had it. Or it was flashing that I did.
The deferral passes 5-0. 14 is a hearing resolution approving an underground electric easement for Country Club Boulevard reconstruction project property in the 4500 block of Country Club Boulevard. Petitioners, Mid-America Energy Company. I'll move it.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 15 is a hearing resolution approving an anchor easement at 50 West Clifton Avenue. Petitioner, Mid-America Energy Company. I'll move it.
Second.
Dan, I'm waiting on you.
Passes 5-0. 16 is an ordinance amending the municipal code to add a definition of local selected bidder. First consideration passed June 5th, second passed June 12th. I'll move third reading.
Second. I like this language. Did you change it last week?
Yes.
Nicole did?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Thanks for waiting for the third reading too. I appreciate it.
Well, we wanted to make sure that you, Counselor, had an opportunity to review it.
Thank you. Went through it with a fine tooth comb. Got everybody?
Passes 5-0. Are there any citizen concerns? If so, please come forward, state your name and address, and tell us what that might be. Any citizens? Seeing none, we're going to council concerns. Mr. Gretkin.
The only one I had, just out of curiosity, any updates on the Ag Center, on the reinvestment district and moving forward with the Ag Center? Well, I mean, we're still under a time crunch, aren't we? I didn't know if anything had changed or updated.
Why don't you get us a whole report on where we're at? Seriously. On where they're at, fundraising and all that.
A written report, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they've been making a lot of progress, Councilman, and we've had a number of meetings in the last 2 weeks, and we can give you a full report on that, but I mean, ideally, we'd like to get it approved in July.
Okay.
I guess we
I have a
haven't
suggestion.
set a date yet, but.
I know that you're kind of redoing things for the Ag Center. And I know that some of you're kind of trying to get the sports thing into it too, also. So you're talking about having basketball courts and that type of thing?
They're looking at having different kinds of courts in there, at least part of the year.
Okay, so here's my suggestion, because you have 3 other people that are real interested in doing that. Why would you do that and go against them? Why don't you try to work with them? Now,
Actually met with them this morning.
We actually met with them this morning. They see the availability of courts in the Ag Equestrian Center as a positive thing for their business also.
Basketball though, because well, that's funny because
To be able to hold bigger events.
they were, I know, but they were talking about soccer fields instead of, so there wouldn't be a conflict of interest. That's what they were,
No, they were comfortable with with
Agree
where
with
the ag
that?
center's going. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
they had
well-
Bob and I and Renee had a great meeting with them this morning, so
Okay, well, that's, yeah, because I got a phone call this weekend on that deal.
they're working very actively as well.
Okay, that's good.
And to that point, though, I really would like that in the update the mayor's
Sure.
talking about. If you could, just to get everyone on the same page. I mean, I read your memo and different things like that, but I want to make sure that.
Happy to, you bet.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I know where we're at. Thank you.
That's all I have, thanks.
I have one little thing. I got a phone call this weekend about Leif Erikson pool, and there are bees out there, and I was wondering if someone could check on that. Someone got stung. So there must be a beehive out there somewhere. So, okay, and that's all I got.
I don't think I have anything. Had a great time. Awesome biker nights. I think it went well. I was talking to some of the police officers. Didn't seem like anything too out of the ordinary or anything too bad, but good crowd. I think people had a good time. The weather held up.
Good.
It was a good weekend overall, except for, I guess, the bandits, but maybe a net win. I don't know, Bob. But...
It all works out.
Uh-huh. But no other concerns. Thank you.
Okay. I have one item I'd like to discuss, and that's fireworks. Starting next Sunday, we can start shooting off fireworks, and I would June 25th, and it goes till July 4th. And I would just ask our citizens to please, you don't have to ask permission, because under the law now, under our ordinance, you can use fireworks, but I would ask that you try to be a good neighbor and let your neighbors know whether you're going to be firing off fireworks that they might want to be aware of. They might have medical conditions, they might have pets, they might be like me and you just don't like sudden loud noises without knowing it's coming. And it's just more of a courtesy thing. But the number one concern that I have, and I think the mayor and council would agree, is that we have safety. I just hope we don't read about accidents that have occurred for that period of time. I mean, June 25th to July 4th is a long time to be shooting off fireworks. And Captain Clays is here. I don't know what you do before June 25th. I don't know what you do after July 4th to enforce the ordinance, but.
Oh, they've write lots of citations.
It's,
Going to get into this again.
No, I'm not even going there because I was right the last time.
well, but I mean, well, I think a natural tendency is to start shooting off fireworks probably before you're supposed to, and then it carries on a little bit after, but, and I don't know, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, city attorney, but I think the council will be able to revisit this if it doesn't go well this year. We can either shorten that time frame or we can eliminate it altogether. But I'm just concerned about safety, truly, and I'm also concerned about being a good neighbor.
I agree. I was just going to ask, it's 10 o'clock is the latest, except for July 4th? Maybe they get to go to 11?
And they go to 11.
That's correct, yes.
So the fireworks has to cease by 10 o'clock in the evening, except for on the 4th, and then they can go to 11.
10 o'clock p.m. is it. So if it goes as smoothly as what our snow emergencies did with the mayor calling for those, we'll be okay as a community. But I don't.
Great.
That'd be great.
We should all learn that press releases have no bearing when it comes to fireworks, but hope will always spring eternal for some of you guys, Bob, which is good to see. I'm not as
Thank
optimistic
goodness.
as you are, so.
And then I still, just one other item, our splash pad in Leeds, it's getting great reviews by people generally, and it's wonderful to see, and I know we're looking at some facilities, the parking, and we're just looking at that, but it's just been terrific that has been so popular with the citizens, because I get a little bit nervous, or I get a little bit concerned when I either read in the paper or hear talk on the street that we closed all of our swimming pools, which is not true. I mean, we still have swimming pools that are running, and we're focusing in on quality and trying to improve them. I mean, you go out to the Riverside Pool and look at the improvements we've made out there. It's just really outstanding. So I think it's a good thing, and I'm just really glad to see that people excited about the splash pad in Leeds.
And to add to that, I was out to Riverside yesterday, and the splash pad out there on Miracle Field is awesome. So, and there was a lot of people out there, so old and young and having a good time. So that's another splash pad that people could probably go out there and use also.
And there's accessible mini golf course out there.
Yes.
So if you ever want a challenge, call me up.
Okay.
Pete, I'm
You're
ready.
on.
There you
I'm
go.
ready.
And then we have a meeting, last thing I have, just our schedule. We have a meeting a week from today on the 26th. But then we don't have a meeting on July 3rd. Is that correct?
Correct.
And then the next meeting will be July 10th. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, I move we adjourn.
Second.
Capron,
Hi.
Gretchen,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye.
Water.
Hi.
Oh, you have that back in your